2 years ago, a little-known freshman named Keenan Reynolds made his debut halfway through, and he brought Navy an overtime victory over Air Force. Since then, the now veteran quarterback in his mids, they have been the Falcons' nemesis. But based on last week's beatdown of Boise State, this is a different team from Colorado Springs. The Falcons flying high at 3-1, confident they'll break the streak held by the midshipmen. All eyes on the prize, hardware on the line, Air Force out for redemption, while Navy tries to continue its dominance. Out of the wild blue yonder, the wings of blue. Just a moment ago, the cadets coming down and the Air Force Falcons coming out. It's Air Force, it's Navy, the first leg of this year's Commander-in-Chief's trophy race. And F-22 Raptors screeching overhead, the first flyover of the season, thanks to special permission from the Department of Defense. All the pomp and circumstance is here. It's a rivalry game. John Sadak alongside the College Football Hall of Famer Randy Cross. And Randy, this game has meant a lot in the race for the CIC.
And those flyovers like that with those kind of jets, that'll rumble your pipes. And when these two groups get together, these two teams, last two CIC games between Air Force and Navy, Navy's won. Two before that, Air Force. Last 17, this game has decided who gets the trophy. And the biggest thing in Armed Forces football is that Commander-in-Chief trophy.
The head coach of Air Force knows it. Troy Calhoun played here. He's the first ever alum to coach here. He's down on the sidelines as we check in with Ken Niumatalolo of Navy and Susanna Collins.
Hey, Coach, you're 4-2 in your career against Air Force, but you're coming off of two tough losses. How do you get this team to perform as well as those teams that had so much success against Air Force?
Well, we just got to realize this is a week-to-week deal. You can't dwell on the past, whether it's good or bad, and you got to press forward. And I know our guys are excited about this game.
Well, the battle for the Commander-in-Chief's trophy kicks off today. You guys currently hold it. How much would it mean to this team to keep it in Annapolis?
It's everything. It's our #1 goal. It's everything we strive for in the offseason, and we're excited to have a chance to defend it on this first leg.
Thanks, Coach. John?
Thank you, Susanna. It's a big part of the sell of recruiting to Navy. 9 of the last 11 CICs won by Navy. Keenan Reynolds a big part of the last 2.
Yeah, it really has been. His legend sort of started as a freshman here in Colorado Springs, coming in the fourth quarter for Trey Miller, and only built last year with the performance he put on the field. He is the heart and soul, coming off 2, by his standards, bad games.
It was a bad season for Air Force a year ago. Just 2 wins, 10 losses, winless in Mountain West play. But the backfield, a big part of a resurgence that has them 3-1.
And boy, that resurgence really came to a peak last week against Boise State. Pearson and Owens leading this team, rushing the ball, scoring touchdowns. They do wonders for this offense. But probably the best defensive performance in college football in the first month or so of the season, Air Force last week against Boise State. They forced 7 turnovers, 5 fumble recoveries, 2 interceptions. They took this game over, and a heavily favored Boise State team out of here, or coming in here, left Air Force with their tail between their legs.
The man who spearheaded it, Troy Calhoun, he's down on the sidelines with Susanna.
All right, Coach, you are coming off a huge conference victory against Boise State last week. We saw how pumped up your guys were after that win. How do you carry that momentum over into today's game?
Well, each game's a different entity, and these ones are more than special, so should be a heck of a football game. If we'll hustle the way you hustled across the field like that, and if we'll play with the kind of stamina, you know, it's like I said, it'll be a really, really good contest.
Navy's coming off of 2 tough losses. It seems like it's the perfect time to get that Commander-in-Chief's trophy back at the Air Force Academy. What's it going to take for you guys to do that here today?
Play a tremendous football game. So they're going to play well, and it'll be hard fought. And like I said, I mean, just a great, great football game.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, ma'am.
John?
Thank you, Susanna, as we take a look at the history between Navy and Air Force, brought to you by Bud Light. What will happen next? Series started with a game in Baltimore back in 1960. Air Force won 19 of 21 from 82 to 02, but Navy has taken 9 of the last 11.
You look at the demeanor of the two head coaches. Both these guys look like they are a sky high. Both these football teams look for a mistake early to really give one team an edge, because when you're this psyched up, when you're this geeked up, you tend to see mistakes.
Commander-in-Chief's trophy goes to the victor of the three-way series between Air Force, Navy, and Army. This is the first leg. Takes place the first weekend of October each year, and as Randy mentioned, last 17 times this winner has gone on to take the CIC. On paper, it seems like they're the two favorites yet again. Air Force won the toss, elected to defend. Calvin Cass, Tony O'Gully, the return men for Navy. Drew Orley, the junior out of Indianapolis, handles the kickoff duties. And that one is very deep. We'll see that quite a bit today, up here over 6,000 feet above sea level.
Kickoff returns aren't big up here at Colorado Springs.
Time now for our Chick-fil-A starting lineups. And the quarterback, Keenan Reynolds, 16-9 as a starter. Those numbers, though, well below his norm.
Well, you see that completion percentage. That's really the rarity. Had a really terrible day last week throwing the ball. Watch how much better this kid plays today. He is a man on a mission.
Reynolds to the edge, and he gets swallowed up, loses a yard. As we meet the rest of the Navy offensive attack. Offensive line will have big say today, had a huge say in the scoring column in this series.
Yeah, how about Zuzik 2 years ago recovering that ball for that big touchdown? That's an offensive lineman's dream. That's a dream I never had.
There's an overtime score. Second down of a dive. Air Force not yielding much. That's been the norm this year, led by the nose guard Troy Timmerman. We meet the rest of the Air Force defense. Weston Steelhammer, though, the man making major headlines nationally.
Yeah, one of the safeties in the back had two interceptions last week. The center of this defense has traditionally been the heart and soul of Air Force's defense. You look at the nose tackle, a middle linebacker, and both safeties. That's the strength of Air Force.
3rd and 8. Up the gut. That's not enough. To Brandon Sanders, the junior out of Mississippi, tackled by Jordan Pierce. And it's a 3-and-out for Navy on the first possession.
You know, keep in mind that these are option teams, both, but very different types of options that they run. Air Force is got very unconventional formations. Navy's closest thing to a real triple option.
Pablo Beltran, strong punter. Jalen Robinette, the return man, called for the fair catch, but it bounds. And mark it just in front of the 35. 35-yard kick as we take a look at the Chick-fil-A starting lineups. And the quarterback of Air Force, Cale Pearson, who missed most of last year with injury. He has had a sensational senior season.
He's had one of those years so far that you really dream about as a senior. You're going to have high percentages when it comes to completing passes. The ones you do get to throw, they're big plays. And running the ball, man, is he tough.
Here he is, tucking and running. Swept under by Quincy Adams, the cornerback. Here are the rest of the Falcons. The center, Michael Husar, on the Remington watch list.
He should be, too. 5'11", about 270, or 5'11", 275. Real smart, very, very strong.
On the ground, nothing. Will Anthony slashes in and tumbles Jacoby Owens. Big time lick laid to the backfield. Here is the Navy defense. Chris Johnson, he had 2 picks in the 4th quarter last year in this matchup. Team's leading tackler this year, big 3rd down.
Tackling's been their problem. First tackler on this defense for Navy. You've got to get there and you've got to make a tackle.
Pearson. Tip ball incomplete. Each team goes 3 and out.
Nice defense there by Parrish Gaines from the safety position. Should happen in the upper right corner of your screen as you watch. Pearson zips it in there real good, and 2 different backs, Adams and Gaines, have a meeting at the quarterback.
Parrish Gaines, the return man on punts as well. Will Conant handles punting and place kicking duties for Air Force, added punting just this year. The senior's boot has tremendous air all the way to the end zone. That's a case, Randy, you probably don't want quite that much leg.
Get it inside the 10-yard line. Don't give it to the ball all the way out at the 20.
That'll be the case. No score. Each team goes 3 and out. As we have a Navy Air Force game underway. Scoreless, Colorado Springs.
College football on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by USAA, proudly serving the financial needs of current and former military members and their families. By Northrop Grumman. And by Golden Corral. Right now at Golden Corral, get a tender lobster tail for just an extra $4.99. That's right, just $4.99.
No score, first quarter. Each team's gone 3 and out. Navy, Air Force 2014. And here are the numbers, Randy. What jumps out?
Well, that great game last week Air Force had, the +10. What a way to start your season. Fantastic first month, +10 turnover ratio, and Navy has uncharacteristically handled the ball over. 6 fumbles already they've lost. They didn't do that all last year.
They go on the ground on first down. Jordan Pierce with a tackle around the 26-yard line, taking down Chris Swain.
They've got Tanner Fleming back at center. Last week, Ryder was playing in there, much smaller, much more of a technician. Tanner Fleming is built as a one-on-one blocker, and good for Navy too, because nose guards for Air Force usually give this offense a real bad time.
Second down burst. They go again to Swain, who twists his way against a pair of defenders, including Jordan Mays. That'll be good for a first down. Armed Forces Football, proudly sponsored by USAA. First down on either side, but a man down. You mentioned Tanner Fleming. He had an ankle issue last week that forced him to the sideline. He's down getting that left ankle looked at now.
And Blaze Ryder last week played an awful lot, and this is going to be a sort of working against type matchup while Blaze Ryder's in. Blaze is 5'11", about 270, 265, but those extra 4 inches makes Fleming much more of an imposing lineman, and he handles it better physically dealing with a guy on his nose. Now, Blaze Ryder won't have a choice. Now he's got to do well with a guy on his nose.
And we spoke to Blaze earlier this week, asked him who matches up better. They will rotate the center spot a bit by design, and he confessed Tanner has the better matchup because of just that purpose.
Yeah, there are guys that are built to go one-on-one. That's this era where you have nose tackles and shaded defensive tackles. You've got to learn how to deal with that guy who's right on your head.
On the dive. That's around the 37-yard line. Gain of about 3. Dexter Walker took him down. Often you'll hear chatter about third down and efficiency. But in truth, these are two teams, because of their style of offense, they preach first down.
Well, that gives them the sticks in their favor. Like right now, the sticks are not in Navy's favor at 2nd and 8.
Calvin Cass swallowed up. Nick Fitzgerald, the right end, in there on the contact. It's been a far more aggressive Air Force defense in 2014.
Watch the front down linemen, the three guys across the board. Watch how they deal with the offensive linemen. They don't leave. Timmerman in the middle gets some penetration. The other two don't leave the line of scrimmage. Beautiful job by the D-line.
3rd and 7. They busted with a fullback, Swain, and he gets himself a first down to the 45-yard line.
Well, let's take a look at what Blaze Ryder and Timmerman did. That matchup between the center and the nose guard right here. This should go a long way towards telling you why the fullback does well. Ryder and company sealed those inside guys off inside, and there's that huge area to run in for Swain.
Barreled over Jamal Byrd, one of the safeties. Some bully football early. Reynolds tries to cut it back up the gut. Gets about 3 to the 47. Be sure to catch the new movie, The Judge, from Warner Brothers Pictures. Comes your way to theaters October the 10th. Toss out to the edge and across midfield, a barrel 2 yards short of the first down.
You talk about being with the sticks, having the sticks in your favor. That last run, 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6, that's where you want to be. 3rd and 2 is such a great down in this triple option offense for Ken Niumatalolo and this offense. They thrive in this spot because not only do they know they can run, especially when they get across the 50, they make it 4 downs. So they can take a shot with a pass on 3rd down sometimes if they want to.
They go to the big body and they get the first to plunge to the 43. As Christian Spears took down Noah Copeland, the primary fullback and the three-headed monster that is Navy's fullback rotation.
You got Zuzik at about 290, you got Gaston at 281, and Blaze Ryder at about 265. That right side of the Navy offense right here. Great precision. You're picking off linebackers, you're double teaming defensive ends, and you're not leaving much doubt about getting that first down.
3 first downs now for Navy. Singleton in as the fullback off a play fake. Reynolds struggled passing last week, and he is corralled. Dexter Walker, the outside backer, who moved from safety to that spur outside linebacker hybrid position with the tackle.
Keenan Reynolds is running pretty good. He's got that knee brace still on his right knee. It's a pretty big brace. Looks like his speed is basically back, but when you play this Air Force defense, these guys are really quick. I don't think there's an exception across the board. Nose tackle, quick for a nose tackle. Every position they run well.
And the ball comes free. The 10th play of the drive results in a turnover. The 7th lost fumble for Navy this year. They had 6 all of last season, and Nick Fitzgerald was in there.
Plays like that have to drive Ivan Jasper, the offensive coordinator, and Ken Niumatalolo absolutely nuts. As much as they work on that mesh, the ball never gets into the fullback's stomach. That's all right there. That's on Keenan Reynolds. The fullback is where he is. He's got to be sure he puts the ball in his stomach before he lets go. That ball liberally maybe got to his hip. So that turnover right there, I would think you'd have to say, is on the Navy quarterback.
Keenan Reynolds has had some fumble issues this year. 6 lost fumbles entering today, 4 by Keenan Reynolds, and most of them not a result of hard contact. Play fake to Owens. Pearson gets it out to the edge, and Air Force gets nearly a first. That'll be a gain of about 8.5.
And you'll see it too with Air Force. When their option starts, it's really a mesh between the fullback, the first guy, and the quarterback. Sometimes the fullback is not going to be on the exact spot. It's incumbent upon the quarterback to bring the ball to the back. If you don't bring the ball to the back, that's exactly the kind of result you're going to get.
2nd and 2, another play fake, and a completion for a first down. Air Force on the rumble. The dive to the pylon, and short.
Yeah, they're going to say he stepped out about the 3-yard line.
Garrett Griffin, the tight end, goes 49 yards, his 5th catch of the season. Offensive coordinator Mike Thiessen said he might be the best tight end that this coaching staff has had at Air Force.
Well, beautiful play call by Thiessen, dialing this up when he did. See, right there, I think he's out of bounds right there. Then he's definitely out of bounds with the right foot on the 4-yard line.
So here's 1st and goal. Pearson zigzagging, cuts it up. And he's short, knocked down at the 1. Paul Quesenberry, Obi Uzoma in there.
Yeah, and this Air Force quarterback, Keenan Reynolds, about 6 foot, maybe what, 195. He's got some pretty good girth to him. Pearson doesn't have that problem. He's 5'9", 175. You see how quickly he moves. And man, when he makes a decision and puts his foot in the ground, he is gone.
He's 4-1 as a starter at Air Force. Out of pistol depth. Another play fake. Pearson throws. Touchdown. Alex Ludwig, the first of the season for the junior.
It's a trend that started last week against Boise State. Points off turnovers, and right away Pearson is able to take advantage of a fumble, turn it into 6. He draws the defense up. Hey, you know, a pass doesn't have to be a spiral and pretty to be a touchdown. Great job getting that, drawing the defense to you, and then throwing that touchdown.
Will Conant on for the point after. He is a perfect 15 of 15 on extra points. Ludwig with the score. It doesn't happen, though, without that turnover. Keenan Reynolds, part of 5 fumbles lost this year, 7 for the team, more than all of last season, and it has Air Force up a score early, 7-0 Falcons. Air Force has not trailed at home all season. 4 plays, 59 yards, $131 for the first score today. And the quarterback, Hale Pearson, involved in all 4 plays, a rush, plus 3 for 3 passing for 57 yards.
Yeah, that drive was about his passing. One was a nice pass, one was to a wide open receiver. That was beautiful game planning and good dialing it up upstairs from the play calls.
Drew Orley's kick. He's got tremendous leg. He's got his 2nd touchback of the day, his 14th of the season. And we have a timeout. Navy gets the ball back. Keenan Reynolds and his midshipmen down to school. Now let's take a look inside the play, brought to you by Napa. Napa know-how.
There's Garrett Griffin there lined up at the right tight end, giving every indication he's going to block. That's an old West Coast play. I think Coach Calhoun brought that over from the Denver Broncos with him from his old days with Mike Shanahan. Look at that for a run. That's a tight end doing some good business against Parrish Gaines, the safety who just manages to catch him. And then the payoff to that, beautiful play by Pearson, draws the defense to him and thrusts the ball into the end zone for a touchdown pass.
When we talked to Mike Thiessen, offensive coordinator for Air Force, asked him to define his offense, he said we're an option team with play action. And we saw a lot of play fake. Here we see one from Keenan Reynolds. Deeper ball, flag, it's picked off. Justin Deku, the quarterback, running it back inside of the 35, but what is the laundry for? It could be some prime real estate for the Falcons.
There are 3 flags down, not too about 8 yards away from each other. Every indication for where he was is illegal contact or holding against the defense.
John McDade is our referee. There you see the laundry on the field. At 1.3 flags dropped in between the 30 and 35. And last week it was 7 turnovers forced against Boise State when Weston Steelhammer had 3 picks.
With multiple fouls on the defense, holding number 21. This penalty enforced 10 yards against an eligible receiver and results in an automatic first down. After the interception, we also had an illegal block in the back on number 79 of the intercepting team. This penalty is declined.
So the first infraction going on the free safety, Christian Spears, and then the nose guard who's in the rotation, Robert Green, with a penalty declined.
And luckily for Navy, that first one means they get the ball back and shall live to fight another day on this drive and get to move the ball down the field. Keenan Reynolds has to put that play out of his head.
Still trying to put last week out of his head when he had a tough time. 3 of 14 passing and a pick against Western Kentucky. Reynolds keeping off the fake. It's submarined at around the 40, a gain of 5 yards. Weston Steelhammer had that tackle, but here's a look. And there's that shove in the back, care of Robert Green.
That's a pretty athletic move there by Mr. Reynolds. It's hard to get clipped that hard, shoved that hard, and not fall down. I think I hit the dirt at about the second step.
And he's doing that with a brace on. He's still not 100% knee. Bully move right up the gut. Noah Copeland, the senior out of San Antonio, Texas, and Navy stands a yard shy of a first.
When this triple option's working its best, and you can see that knee brace right there for Keenan Reynolds on that right leg, it's a big brace when they make those things for you.
3rd and 1. And the push gets the first. The Swarm carries the ball to about the 48-yard line. Move the chains for the midshipmen.
Nice job early on here by Blaze Ryder working inside against Timmerman, the nose tackle. I've been very impressed on tape what Timmerman can do to disrupt the defense. An offense, I mean.
Chris Swain refusing to yield. Gets to around the 46-yard line. When we spoke with Air Force defensive coordinator Steve Russ, he called Navy the kings of yak, and we've seen that on some of these runs up the middle.
Yeah. When you say yak, it's usually yard after catch, and it involves the passing game. But you're absolutely right. As Navy running backs and receivers, they get the ball, they don't go down easy.
Not here either. Yards after contact, yards to the end zone. Chris Swain's second score of the season.
Yeah, this is all about the inside of the offensive line, working right in this area. Watch the beautiful job they do. You start piling up bodies, you come off, you get a linebacker, you get a down lineman, you get a lineman around on another linebacker. Nice persistent run, too. It looked like he was stopped twice during that run.
Nick Sloan's point after good. 46-yard run by Chris Swain. Navy kept on testing the belly of the defense and burst through to tie it up. Five plays, 75 yards, took nearly 2.5 minutes. Chris Swain, he runs a 4.5 with fullback size. His longest run of the year goes for a touchdown.
Yeah, don't be mistaken. Anybody that plays the running back position in this Navy offense, and for that matter, Air Force 2, they are fast. Just as it says fullback, there's nothing plodding about these fullbacks. Great power there. That means when they don't get those legs, that's the power part, but the speed kicks right in as soon as he clears the line of scrimmage.
When we spoke with Ivan Jasper, the offensive coordinator for Navy, about Chris Swain, he said he had some growing up to do, and he thought he's done that in the early stage of this year. He said he saw the light flicker in the Ohio State game, and maybe now it's a true coming of age.
Well, I tell you, they have a physical advantage up front. much like usually happens against them, their offensive line, their offense is physically much bigger than the Air Force defensive front seven. I would look for them to press that advantage a lot.
Well, Austin Greavy's kicked. John Lee, 9th in the country in kick return yardage, gets out to the 21. There have been some really close finishes in this series. 3 of the last 5 have gone to overtime, including 2009 and 2010. Only an 8-score finish. Air Force got its first win since 02 in 2011. First win in Annapolis since 97. Big penalty hurt an extra point try, and then the fumble recovery in overtime by Jake Zuzik. Keenan Reynolds, he carried Navy from a halftime deficit to what looked to be an easy win.
Yeah, when these two match up, a lot of big plays too, and it's not just about running the ball. We've already seen one turnover turn into 7 points.
Pearson, not a ton, gets about 2. Jordan Drake, the senior out of Douglasville, Georgia, helped to bring him down. He's a man who moved from outside linebacker to inside linebacker.
Seamlessly too. Boy, he's made a big difference inside, especially in pass coverage.
Another play fake. Pearson, dangerous ball. He was looking for Garrett Brown, the team leader at receptions.
Watch where he delivers the ball. I think placement-wise, put it in a good place. It was away from the safety. What he didn't see coming in underneath, cutting underneath, was Adams, the cornerback, who if he'd have timed that better would have had a pick.
Air Force 0 for 1 on 3rd down today, 29th in the country on the season. Pearson on the draw. Navy seemed to recognize that one fairly quickly. He won't get it. Will Anthony got him. And a personal foul, it appears, after the play that's going to give Air Force a first down here.
That's just a composure problem. Kenny Matalolo needs to find out what it was, what the officials caught. Both these quarterbacks, when you know it's a pass, you've got to keep something in reserve. No late hits per se.
DJ Johnson to the 45. Here's a look.
Oh, there's Sarah away from the ball, away from the play, and the play was basically over. That's that defenseless player type rule that they're really starting to enforce a lot more, not only in the college level, but also in the bigs up in the NFL.
Rivalry games can stir emotions. On the ground, about a yard. Jacoby Owens.
But you saw the way Sarah ran through there and hit that block, sent the Air Force Falcon flying. That is when you hear the term from an athlete or a football player that says, keep your taillight burning. That's what that means. Always be aware of your surroundings.
Ken Niumatalolo has said he wants his team more aware of penalties. Despite that penalty, it's 3rd and 6. Design screen with an option pass. In stride, Garrett Brown. Trick play. Touchdown, Air Force. 54 yards on the toss by wide receiver Jalen Robinette.
That was set up the second Robinette caught the ball. Pearson throws it back. It's a lateral. As soon as he catches it, the entire defense is coming to him on the screen. A little bubble screen on the outside. Again, great game planning and perfect execution.
Garrett Brown's 2nd touchdown catch of the year. They say he might have the best ball skills of anyone in the Troy Calhoun era. Conan, 16 for 16 on extra points this season.
I like Robinette's quarterback rating so far.
He might be leading the Mountain West. He might be leading the country. Goes 54 yards. Already 2 50-plus yard passing plays for the triple option Air Force team.
Yeah, that's what's different about this team. And when they run the ball, they do it out of very unique formations with offset backs. I think they're as imaginative as anybody in this era that we've had triple option type teams. And a lot of these coaches, including the head coach, Troy Calhoun, they have Air Force roots, which means if you're successful, you have Fisher to Berry roots. And if you have Fisher to Berry roots, you know all about being resourceful, you know all about being imaginative, you know an awful lot about winning.
Calhoun followed his mentor, the College Football Hall of Famer. Both coordinators, alums of the Air Force Academy. Mike Thiessen reminded us when we spoke to him this week, when he was a player at the Air Force Academy, he went 8-0 against the other service academies in his 4 years. Drew Orley to kick. Let's go down to the field and check in with the third member of our crew, Susanna Collins.
Thanks, John. Well, as we discussed in the open, 9 of the last 11 games for Navy against Air Force, they have won. But back in 2010 and 2011, it was a completely different story, with both of those Air Force victories being led by quarterback Tim Jefferson, which leads us to Where Are They Now?, brought to you by Bass Pro Shops. Well, since graduating from the Academy in 2012, Tim has been serving as a flight instructor and also flying the T-6 Texan II at the Columbus Air Force Base. And he's going to be there till 2017. After that, he'll transition to flying either fighter or bomber jets. Not sure which one yet. But Tim is also the only QB to start 4 bowl games and lead his team to 2 victories, guys.
Thank you, Susanna. Joffrey Whiteside leads his team at the start of this drive. Worth noting, by the way, that Bass Pro Shops is a stone's throw away from this stadium. We have a pretty darn good view of it from the press box level, so part of the flavor of Colorado Springs.
As far away as we are, it tells you something about how big that place is.
Big gain. Air Force in the air, Navy on the ground. Noah Copeland tumbled in the red zone by Jordan Mays. A touchdown saving tackle at the 14-yard line.
Oh, you're building a wall inside, and they just walled the Air Force defense off. We've seen 2 gigantic runs by Navy fullbacks so far, because inside they're pressing that size advantage and doing a nice job sticking on the blocks.
53-yard run as we hit the end of the first quarter. Navy in the red zone, 14-7, Air Force with the lead. You're watching college football right here on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Second quarter getting underway, 14-7 Air Force. What a run by Navy.
Yeah, Joey Gaston, Zuzek, and Blaze Ryder do a great job. Full house backfield, little confusing. I think for Air Force, they get guys going and running backs crossing in all kinds of different directions with beautiful blocking up front.
Noah Copeland took plumb advantage, 53-yard gallop. So we've seen 2 runs for Navy of 46 or more yards. We've seen 2 passes for Air Force of 50-plus yards. And we've already seen some trick plays. Each program likes to hold something in the tank for this matchup.
And we've got 3 quarters to go. You can't argue that coaches aren't emptying the bucket here. This is the biggest game in this whole Commander-in-Chief trophy run.
And first down, Swain gets a little more than a yard as we check in with Susanna Collins.
Thanks, John. Yeah, quick injury update on Navy center Tanner Fleming. Now, he was sitting on that trainer's table for most of that first quarter, getting that left ankle worked on. He had 2 bags of ice on it. Right now, it is all taped up, and he is walking along the sidelines. It looks like he's going to try to get back in this one, guys.
Thank you, Susanna. He was out of pads last week in the second half. Reynolds tries to keep it, And a Falcon swoops on in. Christian Spears, the free safety.
Yeah, watch up front. A lot of the blockers disappeared. The white jerseys disappear looking for somebody else, but then they're replaced by the blue jerseys. Nice job by Spears coming from the inside on a straight blitz dog.
Today's red zone numbers brought to you by Verizon. It's been troublesome for Navy. 104th in the country at the start of the week in red zone offense. Off the play fake, Reynolds loads up into the end zone, a wrestle, and the ball ripped out. Air Force gets the pick in the end zone. It's Christian Spears yet again. That's a battle of wills.
Yeah, Christian Spears comes on a run blitz and does a beautiful job inside on a run play. Backs that up with just, my hands are stronger than your hands. Keenan Reynolds puts the ball in a tight spot, throws it behind his receiver, and Spears gets in there and nabs that thing. That really isn't Calvin Cass's problem. That ball was thrown behind him.
So Keenan Reynolds with 2 picks now on the season, 1 in each of his last 2 games. Had one last week in the loss to Western Kentucky.
And had the one called back because of the defensive penalty.
So Air Force at its 20. Pearson tuck and run. Pearson, pretty hard hit around the 28-yard line thanks to Brendan Clements. Here's another look at this turnover.
There's Spears 21 right there. He was staring at Cass Jr. was Keenan Reynolds. And Spears saw that, broke off, covered his man, and stepped underneath for the pick.
Up the gut, Air Force has the first to the 35, gain of 7. Hard rumble by Broam Hart, the senior out of Texas. Daniel Gonzalez on the tackle.
Daniel Gonzalez, there's being the hittee and the hurter. Gonzalez was the hittee on that play. He got run over, but I will say he held on to his legs as he was trying to run over the top of him.
Physical football early. Pearson dealt with the low snap well. Incomplete pass. Frustration for Navy, believing the midshipman should have had a pick. Was that a clean release by Pearson?
I don't think so, but it was quacking all the way out of his hand. And the reason the frustration was, I mean, the DB that fell down for Navy was in the perfect spot, or was going to be. You saw Pearson had to spin, throw, and get it out of there before Sarah came and delivered that blow.
Brendan Clements, best cover man at the quarterback position. They go on the ground. Navy sniffed that out. Loss of about 3. Will Anthony.
There's Will Anthony right here. Second time we've seen him come across the line of scrimmage. Deal with the blocker, shed him, and make a nice play. That's a text form D-line play there.
3rd and 12 for the Falcons.
Defensive coordinator Buddy Green said he's as fundamentally sound and as strong as you'll find for someone his size.
Too many players.
12-minute formation, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
They basically had 12 men in the whatever kind of a huddle they had.
That injures an already difficult 3rd down situation, 3rd and 17.
Now, Buddy Green's defense is, Buddy Green, the defensive coordinator at Navy, they do a little bend but don't break on you. So you'll see the defensive backs, especially the safeties, see them all lined up on the 40. They're going to be just short of the 1st down, and they'll play everything in front of that.
Incomplete pass here on 3rd down. Marcus Hendricks, who has just come back after a knee issue in fall camp, had some special team time last week, the intended target. Buddy Green has been away from the team at times, has had some illness bouts during the course of the year, but he served as an inspirational figure when he checked himself out of the hospital to come back with the team a couple of weeks ago.
And they promptly checked him back in.
Brandon Sanders, the return man, a flag out from the 35. He gets a couple. Let's see what the flag is for.
That's usually holding on the gunner. The outside player on the punt team trying to run down the field, and you got two guys or one guy double teaming him, trying to mug him, and one of them holds.
During the kick, holding. Number 3 receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down. Timeout.
38-yard kick. There was a 2-yard return. It's a one-score game. Navy Air Force. 14-7 Air Force. Last year, Navy tied for the fewest turnovers in the FBS with 10. Already 10 this year, 2 today.
Yeah, just a bad exchange between the fullback and Reynolds on the first one. And the second one, Keenan Reynolds stares down his receiver trying to work against a safety. Spears steps underneath for the pick. It's cost him a touchdown, at least one 7-point edge.
Today's 1st and 10 line brought to you by Golden Corral. Only a one-score game, though, despite those giveaways. Here Reynolds and company starting this drive from the 25. Reynolds to the edge, gets the toss, ball's free, flag is out. A scoop and score for Air Force. Will it hold up? Justin Deku, who would have had the pick if not for a flag earlier.
It's going to be targeting, helmet-to-helmet contact.
And a penalty flag as well.
I mean, normally, back in the proverbial day, you'd say great contact, great try. Not now.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness with targeting. Number 13 of the defense. This penalty is 15 yards, and it takes an automatic disqualification of number 13. This play is now under review.
So Justin Deku, who pulled his hamstring in the Georgia State game, has just been working his way back in, has had 2 big plays nullified by penalty. This one, his own, that if it holds up, means he's gone.
Well, that's got to drive a defensive coach crazy, a head coach nuts, because that play that Deku made that's how you teach players to come up and force the run. They want to try to pitch on you like that late, run through the running back. And Deku ran right through him, but he just hit him high up around the shoulders and head. The official was right there. A flag was thrown by the referee before he unceremoniously took a seat. But now the review is it worthy of A, just the 15, or is it worthy of them throwing him out of the game? Because it's an automatic, then they review.
Here's another look.
I don't think he ever hits him in the head. He hits him like in the shoulder up there, watch. Little flip. He doesn't have possession when he hits him, but he doesn't hit him in the head.
And in addition to the penalty concern here, Randy, what is your view of the decision-making process, the timing and placement of that pitch?
That's about what Navy loves to do that. Navy loves to pitch late. They love to draw the attention to the quarterback and pitch it late. See, from the end zone view we showed a couple of times, it didn't look like he got hit in the head. It looked like it was a helmet right on a shoulder pad. Now, from this view, looks like it's right in the crack of his neck. So right between his shoulder pads and his helmet.
And you see the head snap back, but it is difficult to tell from that angle where the flush contact actually comes. And that's of paramount importance, right?
Yeah, and I don't think the ball was ever tipped or hit during the course of the pitch.
Ken Niumatalolo pensively plotting the sidelines.
See, remember last year, this could be reviewed. See, it's right dead down the line of scrimmage. Takes his eyes off it because the job Deku's doing, and Deku runs right through him. Remember last year they'd review it, and if they didn't agree that the hit was illegal, the player would stay in the game. But last year, the 15 yards would stay. Now they can review it, and they have the wherewithal to move everything around. This is taking a little extra time. I wonder if they're trying to decide exactly, because there were 2 hits on this play, right? Watch Keenan Reynolds, bang.
And that's the Deku contact on Keenan Reynolds.
The left, and there's the second contact.
And that's as Joffrey Whiteside got hit by Weston Steelhammer.
See, neither one of those looked like a severe helmet-to-helmet. Even Reynolds, that was a shoulder into the head.
After a video review, the ruling on the field stands. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced. Number 13 is disqualified for the rest of the contest.
So Justin Deku, the senior out of Fontana, California, gets ejected from the game. That means Gavin McHenry, who started all 12 games last year but had fallen out of some favor. Justin Deku had outplayed him and had one more time at that cornerback spot. Will be forced to make that switch. There are the targeting rules.
Foul in the first half, you're DQ'd for the rest of the game. Foul in the second half, you're DQ'd for the rest of that game and the first half of the next. So we're in the second quarter, so it's just the rest of this game for them. And they automatically are subjected to the replay review and no yardage penalty if the DQ stands up.
Now from the 40, after a long time off the play fake, Reynolds off his back foot. Jameer Tillman sheds a tackler. Tillman suplexed at the 38 by Troy Timmerman. But some wizardry with the footwork for the speedy Jameer Tillman.
Sometimes it's the guy with the ball better keep the tail light burning, because there's a big boy coming from the inside looking for you. Nice job by Timmerman. Deku has to leave.
Those were the high beams of a semi that came calling there. Flag out. On the ground, a roll to around the 31. There's Deku heading off. Significant loss.
5 players in the backfield, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Let's take another look at the contact that has Justin Deku out. Excuse me, the contact on Tillman.
Timmerman coming from inside. Right here, 91. Boom. Hit, lift, and plant.
That is rivalry football.
And that's not even the best hit so far today, and it's early.
Another play fake. The pitch. Read well and contained. Spencer Proctor, the outside linebacker, who just moved to outside this year. Chris Swain, a deep fullback here on 2nd and 15. Another play fake and pressure comes. Reynolds on the roll, escorted out of bounds, flag, contact out of bounds.
I'm not sure if that play didn't happen on the green.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 98 of the defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That goes on Dylan Beschel, the defensive end out of Spokane, Washington. He was there with David Harris escorting Reynolds. Penalties have been a big factor here, Randy.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think maybe the officials want to send a message to control the game a little, because I don't even see the contact that was that unusual that would warrant a personal foul, to be honest with you.
First and 10. They give the pitch. Christian Spears gets the tackle.
You know, we've seen Deku be ejected for that hit. I think Air Force is pretty doggone lucky that Steelhammer wasn't penalized also for the hit that he put on the running back. You know, DeCoos was the shoulder into the face of Keenan Reynolds, and then Steelhammer just obliterated the ball carrier.
Noah Copeland takes a few blue jerseys. He's down to around the 24. Jordan Pierce, part of the triumvirate of Falcons that took him down. Yeah, we saw within seconds on that same edge, two similar types of contact.
Yeah, it was really hard to decipher on both of them if it was helmet to helmet, but they were both vicious. And now here, confidence in your passing game. 3rd and about 5 or 6. If you're confident in your passing game, great advantage here. I'm just not sure how confident Navy is.
They go with the toss. Chris Swain contained. It's 4th down, Randy.
Don't rule out the possibility of going for it here on 4th down instead of kicking. Remember last week, missed a 28-yarder, doinked it, just dead left.
Kicker Nick Sloan just 3 of 7 on the season. 4th down, the offense out there for Ken Niumatalolo. They come to their feet at Falcon Stadium. Reynolds with a pitch, and Navy gets it. Shoulder on the edge, and the midshipmen convert thanks to Damon Brown.
Yeah, how about Damon Brown? You hear the term downhill running? Watch him come off this edge. Doing nothing but running downhill. Puts a shoulder right into the safety, does a beautiful job. That corner was sealed perfectly by Navy.
And that's Gavin McHenry, who has taken the place of Deku, who was ejected just a few minutes ago. Right up the middle with Chris Swain. He gets a good 5-yard clip.
Yeah, nothing for this Navy's football team. Kind of slows down their pace and reestablishes a little bit of who they are than that inside fullback game, isn't it? I mean, you look and you run inside behind Zuzik and Ryder, E.K. Benz at that left guard position.
Go to it once again to the 10, Noah Copeland. And this is coming against an Air Force defense that was 2nd in the Mountain West, 7th in the country, allowing just 82 yards a game on the ground.
And remember, this team, Air Force in the Mountain West, sees a lot of very, very diverse offenses defensively. They see teams that only run if they absolutely have to. They'll do nothing but throw the ball.
They've gone up the gut twice. What do they do on 3rd down?
I like that option off the edge. If you get that matchup where you can seal that edge again, you go with the option and you let the guy go downhill.
Timeout Navy. Ken Niumatalolo wants to talk it over. 3rd down and 3 when we come back. A 1-score game. One-score game in Colorado Springs out of a Navy timeout. 3rd and 3 for the midshipmen, the 10th play of the drive. Reynolds keeps. Reynolds plunges, end zone, touchdown Navy. Tonio Gully helped pave the path, and Reynolds gets the 49th touchdown of his career to tie Ricky Dobbs for the all-time Navy record.
Nice job by E.K. Benz and Brandon Heap on that left side, just sealing things off. There's nothing inside in the way of pursuit to get that quarterback option. That second option in the triple option was not there.
Point after good. Keenan Reynolds, 8 rushing touchdowns on the season, from 10 yards out to tie it up, 14 all.
Brett Stover in New York down at Fort Worth. Good one. Early second, tied at 14. Trevon Boykin to B.J. Catalan. 39 yards, wide open. 21-14 Horned Frogs to John, Randy, and Suzanne.
Thank you, Brent. No surprise that game's close. Field goal finish last year. One-score game in 2012, too, with an incomplete pass at the goal line.
Man, was I wrong about that Mississippi State-Texas A&M game. I really thought A&M's passing game would give Mississippi State a bad time, but woo, they lit them up.
Aggies got rolled. Keenan Reynolds has rumbled his way to 49 touchdowns now on his storied career, tied for the most in program history.
Again, he's in the 5th game of his junior year. So I got a sneaky suspicion he might break that.
He had a long chat with his head coach after a difficult showing in the loss to Western Kentucky. Ken Niumatalolo said, "Hey, you're human. You're going to make mistakes." And he's showing some resiliency today, overcoming a couple of turnovers. Navy's got a tie game. Air Force finally gets the ball back. And a touchback. Let's take another look at the game-tying score for Keenan Reynolds.
You're going to see a perfect alley for a running play. You've got this right here, and then this right here, and everything in between. Wide open saying, "Keenan, come get me." 6 points. Boy, what beautiful execution. Chris Colton and Leslie Ingram are the line coaches, and that's exactly how they draw that kind of blocking up for their offense.
Keenan Reynolds gets the score, but he often defers to his teammates. And that line helped carve out that huge path. Screen game. Read well. Only a yard as Quincy Adams zipped in there. And Ricky Dobbs not only has tied the touchdown record, but outright has most points in a career by any midshipman.
And no, he's never kicked an extra point, and he's never kicked a field goal, but he scored a lot of 2 points after touchdowns, 2-point tries.
The dive, Broham Hart, Will Anthony with the tackle. And he has engineered a lot of long drives. That last Navy drive, 10 plays, 75 yards. Time of possession, 16:30 for Navy. And Air Force has just gotten over the 7-minute mark.
That is pure triple option, pure Navy Ken Niumatalolo football when you hold it that long. Obviously some penalties and big turning plays in there too.
More pressure on this 3rd down and 7 as a result. Pearson creative to find space. This completion, though, short of the first for Garrett Brown.
I'll tell you one thing we've seen right now through that last possession by Navy, and right now for the start of this possession by Air Force, the physical tide seems to be turning a little bit. Navy's the team making the physical hit. They're making the big pops, and Troy Calhoun's football team right now is just not coming up with those big plays or the big physical plays. Because earlier in that last possession, they had 2 of the bigger hits we've seen all year long.
Neither team has done very well in the return game this year. We've seen Navy switch from Parrish Gaines to Brandon Sanders today. Sanders makes the fair catch at his own 28. We'll take a timeout. Tie game at 14. Navy has dominated time of possession and has the ball when we come back. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, Brent Stover, Houston Nutt, Christian Fourier. We'll have updates from games around the country. First half highlights, stats, a whole lot more. A huge day in college football. That's coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. One of the big games right here in Colorado Springs, the 2nd highest elevation in the FBS ranks. We're more than 6,000 feet above sea level. Time of possession dominated by the Navy midshipmen.
And all due really to that last drive. It was pretty level before that. The deciding factor were the couple of turnovers by Navy. But right now, Air Force with only 5 minutes and 12 seconds of possession.
On the ground, Chris Swain gets about 4 yards. And there are the numbers on the game to this point. Decidedly in Navy's favor, and you've pointed out early on how often it's come on runs right up the middle.
Yeah, it really, that's been the highlight. They've gotten 1 or 2 of the big runs on the outside for first downs, but
You know, it seems that it's been the fullbacks for Navy with the biggest plays, either Copeland or Swain.
Reynolds trying to reverse field, swarmed at the 30, a loss of 2. Dexter Walker, part of the group in there that took him down. And here's a 3rd down and 9.
And that's what the doctor ordered for this Air Force defense. Try to see if you can get a quick 3 and out. You've got him at 3rd and 9. Now the thing is, they'll give you a look. Look at this formation. It looks like pass. They're spread out. They can run anything they run out of this formation.
Pistol depth, design keeper it seems, read well by Air Force. Dropped down at the 27-yard line, a late flag. Dexter Walker was in there on
by
contact.
Fitzgerald. Penalty flags fly.
Number 97, the defense. 15-yard penalty, an automatic first down.
Called that against Nick Fitzgerald for Air Force. See his teammates wisely getting him out of the official's face. It wasn't the hit. It was more that right there, the little push at the end. Just unnecessary, and you're doing it right in front of the referee. You don't think he's going to notice that?
First down, up the middle. About 3.5, and the import then falls upon players on both sides to corral emotions in a very flared rivalry game.
Oh, the emotions aren't going anywhere. If you're Troy Calhoun or Ken Niumatalolo, you just got to hope that your guys are going to start from this point forward making smarter decisions and not doing those little edgy things like that. They're going to get a flag.
Toss to the edge. And a first down. Calvin Cass into Air Force territory. We've seen late penalties for hits out of bounds, for shoves after the play. We've seen a targeting ejection already.
Well, Sarah launched a late blocker for a penalty. You saw Fitzgerald. We already talked about Taku getting knocked out of the game or thrown out of the game for an illegal hit. They could have gotten Steelhammer on the same play for another bad hit. I just think if you're in with these teams at halftime, they're both executing pretty well when they get chances. When the other team makes a mistake, they're executing well and taking advantage. I think you got to talk composure at halftime.
Calvin Cass, though, came up limping, and they've had some issues with slot backs getting hurt on the year. Ryan Williams-Jenkins had that ugly head-to-head contact that broke his orbital bone. He had surgery earlier this week. Did not travel. He's still recovering. That surgery took place on Thursday. Damon Brown, he missed the Rutgers game with a knee injury. Here's a look at Ryan Williams-Jenkins' injury.
You ever taken physics, you know the whole thing about force and weight and time, and it's a lot of force. Two guys running full speed.
Originally, he complained of neck pain. Good sign, though, it was just that broken orbital bone. Ken Niumatalolo said, all things considered.
You get hit that hard in the face, I got to think your neck hurts a little bit.
First and 10. Reynolds gets a yard. Whoa. And with all those injuries, time now for the icy hot injury report. James Britton was a huge loss with a broken bone in his foot. Missed action last week, and Williams-Jenkins as well.
And Britton's on the sideline here in crutches and a cast, and Williams-Jenkins had that surgery on Thursday and wasn't able to make the trip with the team.
Play fake. Reynolds loading up. Going up the ladder one-handed. Yes, sir. Joffrey Whiteside, the senior out of Columbus, Ohio.
Here's a highlight for you. One hand. Bring it down. I don't think the ball ever touches the ground. Wow, what a beautiful catch.
21-yard completion. They run the play quickly thereafter. Go up the middle for about 4.
Boy, I can't wait to see some of the still shots off of that one. Photography will do wonders for that. That'll look even better when it's still shot from the amazing angle he twisted his body into just to get in position to grab the ball and be able to knock it back to himself.
9th play of the drive. Reynolds fell near the original line of scrimmage by Jordan Pierce. 3rd down, but time ticking here, Randy.
And Navy's in no particular hurry.
And it looks like we'll get a timeout.
I don't think they're in no particular hurry either to kick a field goal here. So there's a distinct possibility they've got 2 plays in their arsenal left.
Timeout Navy as we go back to New York City to check in on the Crimson Tide and the Rebels.
We've got our first touchdown of the game on 4th and goal from the 1. Blake Sims fools everybody around the left edge. 7-3 Bama deep in the second. They lead Ole Miss. Houston Nutt and Christian Fournier join me in moments for the Verizon Halftime Report.
Thank you, Brent. Alabama team averaging 42 points a game, and Ole Miss team giving up just 8.5 per game.
Last time Ole Miss and Mississippi State went into this week, both 4-0, was 1961. So a real resurgent year. We've seen Mississippi State win today in a great game against A&M, and don't put it past Ole Miss now. You better pay attention to that game through the 4th quarter. Their finishes.
3rd down and 10. Reynolds hands it off. Swain bumping bodies. Grinds to about the 21-yard line. Navy still with 1 timeout. Time ticking away. There's Nick Sloan. He's had a difficult junior campaign.
4th down.
Trying to get Air Force to jump.
Trying to get the field goal a little closer. No, they're trying to draw him off. They're not going to run a play. Ken Niumatalolo walked down and called that timeout to get his field goal team on the field.
So Navy gets the timeout, even though it shows 0. Our referee, John McDade, has just told the crowd that the timeout came before it hit 0.
So what, it should say 0.005?
They're going to put 1 second up there and some pressure on Nick Sloan. Next Saturday, Super Social Saturday on CBS Sports. Follow CBS Sports on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to learn how you can participate. This was the social media message from Air Force football. Get it back. The Commander-in-Chief's trophy, that empty case put square in the center of the locker room.
Oh, like one of them might have forgotten that?
Well, could we have an Air Force timeout here trying to ice Sloan? It appears we do.
That's not a bad idea by Troy Calhoun.
Nick Sloan against Rutgers. Missed from 41. That was a couple of weeks ago. Last week, a 28-yarder. That was a huge one. Off the left upright. Stunned disbelief. He's missed 4. He's made 3.
Now the extra, that was 28 yards. So that was actually, the ball was placed on the 18-yard line. The ball now is on 28.5, almost a 29-yard line. So the angle is much better from here. It's easier for him to kick this length than it was the shorter one because it's a much sharper angle.
You saw his long 41. That was here 2 years ago. For the lead.
Oh boy.
Another miss. You have to feel for the junior out of San Diego, California. And there's not much else that Ken Niumatalolo can do.
And that was big with Air Force getting the next kickoff to start the second half. That's big time. No points out of that. No draw to it, just a straight push just outside the right upright.
Let's go down out of the field. Susanna standing by with Troy Calhoun.
All right, Coach, you anticipated a tough battle against this Navy team. This game is not disappointed. You're all tied up here. What have you liked from your team so far?
Well, I think both squads are playing really, really hard. You know, I think sometimes you got to make sure that, you know, you're firing your emotion. You got to play with that's the spirit with which you got to play, but it can't control you, and that's going to be a key part of the second half too.
Those penalty flags have been flying here in this one. Deku DQ'd for the rest of this game. How do you address those penalties with your team here at the half?
Clean them up, and you know, it's both ways, and we got to get it cleaned up.
All right, Coach, thanks so much.
It could have been a Navy lead at halftime. Nick Sloan has attempted 8 field goals this year. He's missed 5. After the break, we'll send you to our CBS Sports Network studio.
Welcome back. It is halftime here at Falcon Stadium in Colorado Springs, and it is all tied up between Navy and Air Force, 14 points apiece. And right now, I am joined by the Secretary of the Air Force, Deborah Lee James. Now, Deborah, I know that you have held this position for the last 10 months, and during that time, you've assumed many different initiatives. If you could just tell us about some of those that have really resonated with you.
Well, Susanna, first of all, thank you so much for having me, and such an honor to be the Secretary of the Air Force. My #1 priority as Secretary is to make sure that we are taking care of our people in all ways. And the Air Force is a large institution. We're 690,000 active duty National Guard, Reserve, and civilian airmen, of which I'm now so proud to be one. And when you add in our families, it's an even bigger group beyond those numbers. So there's all sorts of initiatives that we have going on to attract the right people, and of course we're here at Air Force, the Air Force Academy, our premier location for bringing in our great new officers. It's been such an honor to be with our cadets all week. And another part of taking care of people I want to point out is those who become ill or injured or wounded. And it's also been such a privilege to be part of the Warrior Games taking place this week at Colorado Springs.
Well, you mentioned those Warrior Games. I mean, such an incredible event. Why is it so important for the Air Force to support an event that supports those wounded warriors?
In the Air Force, as I mentioned, we are all about our people. And so these are our people who have become ill and injured and wounded. And so you better believe we are going to take care of them and help them to recover. And we're the Air Force family. They have their family as support system. So the Warrior Games is all about adaptive sports. It's all about healing. It's about mental. It's about physical. It's about spiritual. And by the way, spiritual is the key word here, because if you had the opportunity to see what I saw, you would never believe that you ever had a problem again, because they are so resilient, they are so competitive, and the camaraderie is so strong among all of our military services.
Puts it in perspective. Thank you so much, Deborah, for being with us. Second half coming back. We'll be right back here at CBS Sport Network. It is all tied up between the Air Force and Navy, 14 points apiece. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Welcome back, all tied up. Down to the field, Susanna Collins with Navy head man Ken Niumatalolo.
All right, Coach, an exciting first half of football right there, all tied up here. What do you want to see from your guys in the second half?
Well, you know, I think there's some things. We had 2 turnovers, had a penalty, hurt us on 3rd down. We gave us some big pass plays. With all of that said, we're still tied. So we just got to come out and finish. We're moving the ball, but we got to finish drives.
Thanks so much, Coach. John?
Thank you, Susanna. John Sadak, the College Football Hall of Famer, Randy Cross. We have had a spirited football game so far. A lot of flags on both sides.
Yeah, it really has, and probably the sequence of the game, 5-minute and 12-second drive that took about 20 minutes off the clock, it seemed, in real time to run those 5 minutes. A lot of penalties, a lot of big plays. It really was the difference, that one long drive by Navy.
And so we have a tie game at 14. 4 penalties on Air Force's defense. 1 nullified a scoop and score touchdown on a fumble. 1 nullified an interception. Navy to kick. Austin Greavy handles kickoff duties. You wonder at what point he might get some place kicking consideration for extra points and field goals as well. This one booted for a touchback. Take a look at the 5-hour Energy first half stats. What do you see here, Randy?
Well, I see a Navy dominant running game, especially on the inside with the fullbacks. And I see a team in the Air Force that really is kind of struggling to find themselves, especially their running game. Right now, like you said, these are two option teams. Navy's got all the options. Right now, Air Force's running game isn't much of an option.
The 2 turnovers for Navy, both care of Keenan Reynolds, the fumble and the interception on a wrestle ball in the end zone. Second half begins on the ground. Air Force had won the toss and decided to defer. That's why the Falcons have the ball here. Bernard Sarah with the tackle. Roam Hart. So Air Force chugging on the ground to begin the second. Here's a look at the possessions for the Falcons in the first.
I like the way Air Force has come out here. And it doesn't not really hurry up, just picking the whole pace of their offense up.
Pearson on 3rd and 2, the pitch. And they get it. By a yard beyond the marker, Jacoby Owens. Top 10 in the country in rushing yards per game.
And just as a hurry-up style offense that throws the ball a lot, this running team right now in Air Force, they're really benefiting from this pace.
On the ground once more to the 40, Jacoby Owens.
Number one benefit from the pace is Navy can't substitute. Navy's got to keep the same guys in on the defensive side. You can start zeroing in people, influence blocking people, and you can open up some bigger holes when you work at this pace with an option offense.
Pearson, late pitch, big block. Devin Rushing, the junior out of DeSoto, Texas.
Beautiful job by DJ Johnson out in front. Nice little job.
Threads the needle there, Rushing, who...
If you can't thread the needle as an option quarterback, you can't play.
Off the play fake, Pearson can throw. Stiff arm in space.
It sounds funny to say that, you know, about threading the needle, because usually we're talking about throwing the ball, threading the needle. It's all pitches in these offenses.
First and 10. Pearson off another play fake, same play. Robinette once more for a first inside of the 30. Armed Forces Football proudly sponsored by Golden Corral.
You got Robinette, 6'3", 200-pound receiver. That's like a real wide run, flipping them that ball out there and getting some easy yards. See the pad at the bottom of the screen?
On the ground inside of the 25 to the 24.
You start seeing those pads in coverage, and when you get in the red zone, those pads will slim down a little bit. Cornerbacks will get closer to the receivers. But as long as you see that distance between the corner and the receiver, there's no reason not to flip a little quick one out to your receiver. He can get an easy 4 yards.
Spirited drive by the Falcons, 2nd and 7. They go with the dive, Pro-Am Hart. Taken down at around the 20 by Paul Quisenberry.
A little different formation. We haven't seen that one very much. It's the old wishbone. It's a broken bone with the one running back that should be on the right side of the backfield moved up into a slot wing position. Same formation here.
They need 3, and they get it. Jacoby Owens. Another first down for Air Force, and here a red zone try his way. Today's red zone numbers brought to you by Verizon.
Navy finally got a chance to make some substitutions, getting a couple linemen out, including Sarah. because the pace does gas those guys to put their hand on the ground.
Owens. Overwhelmed, Obi Uzoma led the charge.
Pretty innocuous little play. 4 or 5 yards though. And that gives you, like you talked about the sticks in the first half for Navy. For Air Force, you've got the sticks in your favor. Right now you're second down and you're looking at 7 yards to go.
Pearson turns it upfield. It's knocked down by Chris Johnson to the 9, gain of 3, sets up a third at about 3.
Doesn't matter if you're in this red zone. This team has got to keep this pace up. The pace of the offense is why they got down to this point. You've got to keep the pace up. It'll keep affecting the defense. The longer you take, the more time they have to make adjustments to your formations.
Owens on the toss. And Owens plunging forward with this spot, I believe, has the first down. Tackled by Uzoma. So first and goal for the Falcons. They've used the ground game, Randy, to get to this point. You stick with it?
Well, yeah, of course. That's the one thing they were lacking in the first half. They had run for 30 yards. They're doing a great job running the ball.
Pearson tries to do that. Hit on his hip, down at about the 3.
But a great way to start this second half, no doubt. Troy Calhoun and company, the whole staff got inside, talked about poise, talked about execution as an offense. They got together and he's holding, look guys, we're gonna raise the pace. We're gonna get this thing going. We're not gonna let them zero in on us as much. It's really worked so far in this first series.
DJ Johnson standing up, trickeration, end zone touchdown. Garrett Griffin, he had the big catch in the first half and gets the short score to put Air Force back ahead.
These option quarterbacks are pretty good, aren't they, John, in faking the ball? Because I'm with you. I thought DJ Johnson had that ball inside, looked wide open for a chance to get a run. That sucked the entire interior of the defense up for Navy and set up that wide open pass in the back of the end zone.
And all of the praise on Navy's 5-minute, 12-second drive, 10 plays, 75 yards. This Air Force drive goes 75 yards, 5 minutes, 46 seconds. And the point after has Air Force ahead by 7. Cale Pearson selling the play fake, going end zone, and forging ahead. Tuesday, 10 Eastern, it's a sports conversation unlike any other, as elite women in sports provide a new voice for all the trending topics. Don't miss We Need to Talk, Tuesday night, 10 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. And that's a rather impressive composite resume there, Randy Cross.
Yeah, with between Summer Sanders and the rest of them. You know, Dana Torres, I think they probably have the lion's share of those Olympic gold medals, but the show got off to a great start last Tuesday night. Now they'll be able to focus down every week on, 5 or 6 different ladies in there talking. I think it's going to do nothing but get better and better every week.
Air Force getting better and better. How about that drive? Not only those numbers, but consider this. Air Force in the entire first half had 4 first downs, had 6 on that second half opening scoring drive.
And you saw some bootleg / play action really pay off on that last play for a touchdown, and that worked out well because they were actually able to run the ball effectively like they had early in this game.
Another touchback here, more than a mile high, but we had some missed field goals for Nick Sloan, who went out at halftime. This was with 10.5 still on the clock. Nick Sloan went out for some practice.
Yeah, this is during the halftime. He got out there by himself. Trying to work a few kinks out, because obviously there's a few kinks still left. Yeah, it's like golf. That's a head game. You can hit 300 drives every time until it counts.
On the pitch, the stiff arm on the edge. Damon Brown, Sloan, by the way, hit 3 of his 4 tries in his halftime exercise. He's now missed 5 of 8 in terms of in-game field goal tries on the year.
Well, he's got to keep his head in it, because they're going to need him in this second half. His field goals are going to be important. I only say that because field goals are always important in this matchup between these two teams. It always comes back to an extra point or a field goal. Seems like every year.
Reynolds makes a first man miss, gets a few. 3 of the last 5 matchups have gone to overtime. The last 10 have been decided by an average of less than a touchdown. And it was a missed extra point, of course, that led to that 35-34 finish just a few years ago.
And Ken Niumatalolo mentioned to Susanna the key word when it comes to, in my mind, all of sports, but especially football. We got to finish. If you can finish, you can play with anybody.
3rd and 4. Reynolds under duress, incomplete. Steelhammer there to break it up.
Yeah, really nice play by Steelhammer. Awkward throw by Keenan Reynolds. Run into his left. Just does get his hips turned. The ball slightly behind, but Steelhammer comes in to make sure that there was no miracle catch involved.
Dyshon Romine, the intended target. Steelhammer had 3 interceptions last week to tie an Air Force and Mountain West Conference record. Air Force inaugural members in the Mountain West back in 1999.
Should see some more hurry up out of Air Force's offense and see how Navy adjusts.
Pablo Beltran's punt. Fair catch called for and made inside of the 20. 21-14 score. Some duress for Keenan Reynolds. The pressure brought today, and Reynolds went down.
College football on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Meet the Mormons. See the documentary featuring Navy head football coach Ken Niumatalolo in theaters October 10th. By Napa Auto Parts. Stop by your local Napa store to experience the Napa know-how difference. And by the makers of 5-Hour Energy.
One of the gorgeous scenes out here in Colorado Springs. Mountains in the background. Touchdown game. Air Force leads 21-14.
This is a different blue. I know there's Air Force blue, and there's Navy blue, and there's turquoise blue. The sky and the water out here is amazing, the color blues that you get.
God's country. Troy Calhoun knows that. Was here as a student, now here as the head coach. On the ground goes Air Force. That was a successful recipe on the drive that opened the second stanza with a go-ahead score.
Keep the pace up. If you're Air Force, keep it up. Navy, anticipate it. Let's see how Buddy Green and his defensive coaches adjust.
Everybody rolling right, seen before the snap. Pearson tries to turn it up and gets spun down. It's maybe a yard. Chris Johnson with the tackle.
It was a nice job by Chris Johnson getting across the line of scrimmage and throwing the quarterback for a loss. There's a good adjustment. Get your linebacker reacting. Often that inside backer is who you're going to have responsible getting in that quarterback's hip pocket. You saw Buddy Green tapping that side pocket. Get that linebacker in the quarterback's pocket.
3rd and 8 as a result. They show pressure. And Air Force runs right up the middle with Broham Hart. It's not nearly good enough for a first. Punt unit comes out.
Yeah, first down gets medium to small. Second down loses yards. Third down can be a successful play, and you're still punting. It gets back to that staying ahead of things when it comes to the sticks. It's going to set Navy up more than likely in some pretty good field position, but remember the altitude and remember the cannon of a leg this kid has from Air Force.
Will Conant, one of 30 on the Lou Groza watch list. Fair catch made by DeBrandon Sanders. Timeout on the field, 38-yard kick.
Flag
no
down.
Return, and there's a flag down to the field. Flag fell down at around the 35 on Air Force's side of the field, seemingly after the fair catch was made.
Yeah, that's either a clip or a block, some kind of block in the back. Late hold maybe, but I would say it's probably against the returning team.
Lengthy dialogue about the penalty. Here's the call.
During the kick, personal foul and necessary roughness. Number 54 of the receiving team. 15-yard penalty, first down. Timeout.
Goes on Tyler Goebel, one of the backups at that middle linebacker spot. To break we go.
Brent Stover in New York. The good news for Wisconsin, Melvin Gordon's over 200 rushing yards and 10 per carry. Bad news, Joel Stabby on in relief, throws the interception, and then Northwestern cashes in. On the reverse, Miles Schuler, 17-7 Wildcats, middle of the third. Back out to John Sadak, Randy Cross, and Susanna Collins.
Thanks, Brent. What a bounce back for the Wildcats. Crushed Penn State, now taking it to Wisconsin.
Yeah, there's a team. Look at Northwestern, like Mississippi State, beat somebody big last week. Might be doing it again this week.
Today's first down line brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Navy at its own 24. Reynolds off the play fake. He's got 2 completions today. One-handed stab comes up short. Looking for Jameer Tillman.
Yeah, we've seen Jeffrey Whiteside make an absolute beautiful circus catch on one high throw that Keenan Reynolds had. Last week, a lot of overthrows. You know, part of that may be due to wearing the brace. Maybe he's more stiff-legged than he'd usually be when he's throwing. That can affect the way a quarterback throws and change the trajectory on his ball. But whatever it is, he needs to fix it, because for him, it's unusual he's that off.
Reynolds on the ground. He's on here. That's good for a first. That's his 14th rush of the game, Randy. 7 of the first 13 had gone for 0 or negative yards.
Watch the decision. Foot goes into the ground right there. Beautiful block in front of him. That takes out a few bodies. Might be something wrong with his throwing motion. Maybe he's not bending his knees enough throwing, but his running's fine.
Dexter Walker finally able to tame Reynolds. Up the middle they go to about the 43-yard line, gain of 4.
You can see where this ball is. It's just inside the left hash mark towards the middle of the field. And Navy's running game, when they're being effective, they don't get out of the hash marks. They're running and just pounding it at you right inside, especially with the strength and the size advantage they have over the front 7 of Air Force. Keep this pace up. Be methodical. It's what your offense is built to do. Let your offense do its thing.
Reynolds, solid second down surge. That's near the marker. He might have it depending upon the spot.
Yeah, Keenan Reynolds, 5'11", 195 pounds, not by any stretch of the imagination a big young man. Have you ever seen a guy that always goes forward? He rarely goes backwards when he runs. And that's a testament to his will and the way he plays football more than anything else.
He took the loss to Western Kentucky personally. He apologized to the team. He told the media it was his worst game at Navy. Holds that same kind of accountability on the field. Off the play fake, Reynolds under duress. That's been the story of the day, and he swarmed for a sack back at the 40. Weston Steelhammer, Connor Healy converged on the quarterback.
And a smart move by Steelhammer and Healy as they converge. Remember in the first half, we had some people hitting Reynolds and whatnot and, you know, taking a little push off. But you got to look down the field. Why was this so long in the pocket? What was going on downfield? Hold it right there. Where's he going to throw it? Not going to throw it there or there or there.
On second down, loads up under duress again, batted down. Gavin McHenry in coverage. He's done a solid job. Justin Deku had been the primary man at that spot. He was ejected for targeting against Reynolds in the first half.
What you need here, if you're Air Force, you need to get Navy right back off the field. They've already had a good run, a couple of good hits. Get them off the field here, get your offense back on. For Keenan Reynolds and Navy, you need a miracle play. Because in your playbook, you don't have a whole lot of 3rd and 17s.
Reynolds, pocket holds well, steps into his throw, open target, overshot his man. Joffrey Whiteside, the senior out of Columbus, Ohio.
Last week against Western Kentucky, he had 3 touchdowns overthrown. And here today, there's another touchdown overthrown. He sells the play brilliantly with the play fake. Does a wonderful job, just can't deliver the ball to the receiver. That's got to drive him nuts, because I know it drives Ken Niumatalolo nuts.
0 for 3 on the drive. Reynolds now 2 of 7 on the game. Pablo Beltran deals with the difficult snap. Fair catch call made, and the ball loose. Who has it?
Looks like
Air Force ball at the 11-yard line. Pretty quick call from Bruce Williams, the back judge, 49-yard kick.
That was almost a textbook job by Dudek and company for Navy to sit under the returner and poach there. If you drop it, I'm going to get it.
Free football, one back by the Falcons.
Brett Stover in New York, over on CBS. Bo Wallace, only 10 of 18, but hits Laquan Treadwell. 14-yard score. It's Bama 14, Ole Miss 10, middle of the third, guys.
Thank you, Brent. The last time Ole Miss took down Alabama, some guy named Eli Manning was the quarterback for the Rebs.
And last time the Rebs were 4-0, a guy named Archie Manning was the quarterback for the Rebs. That's one of the few games today that's really delivered to the billing. We've seen one or the other team kind of lapse so far today, but man, it's good to see that one tight, and that one will go right down to the wire. Alabama's got to be careful with Ole Miss. They play really well in the fourth quarter.
Spirited contest here in Colorado Springs. Pearson, the pitch. Garrett Brown, usual wide out on the carry, gets just beyond the 15. Worth noting, the fumble on the fair catch attempt by Jalen Robinette was recovered by John Lee. That was a huge recovery. Turnovers, the thing preached by both coaching staffs when we talked to them during the week. Navy's given it away twice. Air Force is yet to do that. Flag out, that's a first down run. And what's the laundry for?
That's coming from the referee. Usually a holding call on the outside of the line.
Legal shift. Not 11 players got set on the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Wow. Second down.
Just go back to some of the tempo Air Force has used.
It's tempo, it's precision. As everybody stops shifting when the ball snapped. The top of the screen, receiver is not set. Great call by the referee. Got at least for a beat, have both feet and your body still.
That backs the Falcons up to the 10. Second and 11. And the penalties piling up on Air Force. Pearson the pitch. No room. Only to about the 12 for Jacoby Owens.
Boy, Johnson's having a heck of a game at linebacker. Whether he's catching it inside or pursuing it inside out, he's doing a really nice job with this option. He's not buying any of the quick reverses or the, any of the window dressings, whether it be formation or alignment.
Third down here. Tentative approach, spun around Owens, gets to the 28 and has him, or excuse me, the 18, that has him about 3 yards short. Jordan Drake on the tackle.
Yeah, worth mentioning, Owens was averaging 134 yards a game coming into this game today. Only had 4 yards in the first half. Has done a little bit better here in the second half, but Navy's defense has done a very good job keeping him in check.
Will Conant to punt. To Brandon Sanders, the return man. Clean kick. Fair catch call made. A whisper, but no contact.
The only contact was by another Navy player.
Only 70 days to go in the countdown to America's game, the Army-Navy game presented by USAA, only on CBS Sports. There's the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. Goes to the winner between Army, Air Force, Navy. Started back in 1972. We still have Air Force at Army, Army-Navy to come on CBS. Navy visited based on winning for the 9th time in 11 years back in April. Run up the middle, Noah Copeland. Chris Swain.
Like we noted earlier in the show, 17 years in a row, the winner of this game has been the Commander-in-Chief winner. It's simple. There's 3 teams in the Service Academy world of football. Army's been behind the 8 ball for a while, but it's usually year in and year out. Air Force and Navy stand toe-to-toe and slug it out.
Fumble. It is Navy football. But again, the ball put on the ground. Keenan Reynolds having some troubles.
He was fumbling with that ball as he was trying to bring it up to his chest. Blaze Ryder, the center, a little bit of a short snap, but Keenan Reynolds has to ride with his center a lot more than that. He knows that center is getting away into a blocking scheme.
They lost Tanner Fleming to an aggravation of an ankle ailment in the first half. Reynolds wrapped up. Jordan May shoots in from corner and takes down the Navy QB.
Yeah, there's a corner coming in off the edge. You'll see Jordan Mays. He's confident that he's going to do his job because the guy behind him is going to do his job. He comes in, makes the tackle. Not even necessary to find out who had the trailing back because Mays makes a beautiful job beautiful play coming across the line of scrimmage.
Converted safety. You can still see some of that safety in him.
Tackles like a safety.
Robinette lets it fall, and Beltran's punt bounces into the end zone for a touchback. Former NFL Ironman London Fletcher joins Anita Marks, Brandon Tierney, and host Adam Shine as they get you ready for Sunday's action. That other pregame show tomorrow morning, 9 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Tanner Fleming had that ankle ailment. Let's learn more about his most recent status from Susanna Collins.
Thanks, John. Yeah, I just spoke to Navy's trainer, and he is definitely out for the rest of the game. He has got a walking boot on that left ankle. Again, he injured that ankle in the first quarter. He had iced it, was going to try to get back in there, but again, he is out for the rest of the game, John.
Second straight week, the ankle has been an issue for Fleming. To the edge for the Falcons, and a big boom. Jacoby Owens just blown up there.
When you look at this offense, this option offense for either team, it's really a thing of beauty when it comes to angles and geometry and math. Beautiful execution. Watch it comes down the line. No on the first, quick pitch to the outside. 21-14, Air Force over Navy here at the end of the third quarter. You're watching college football right here on CBS Sports Network.
Welcome back to Colorado Springs, Falcon Stadium, 21-14. Air Force leads Navy, the first leg of the 2014 Commander-in-Chief's Trophy race. John Sadak, the College Football Hall of Famer, Randy Cross, so jealous of that hair. Susanna Collins down to the sidelines.
Jealous of her hair, too?
I'm jealous of everybody's hair. You got a dog, I'm probably jealous. Jacoby Owens on the run, and Owens gets beyond the sticks. Owens had single-digit rushing yards in the first half, had 10 carries for 50 yards in the third quarter alone.
Yeah, you're not going to stop this Air Force running game, but Buddy Green and his defensive charges have done an excellent job of getting into the heads of the defensive coaches for offensive coaches of the Air Force.
Today's 1st and 10 line brought to you by Golden Corral. Pearson. That's not exactly how you draw it up, but that's going to work. A swivel out of bounds. Jacoby Owens rode out a play by Daniel Gonzalez. Improvisation by Cale Pearson.
There's a play that'll make a coach take a deep breath. That's putting the ball in peril. Talking about just starting the fourth quarter, but remember, with these two offenses, 15 minutes in the fourth quarter, that can be 3 drives, 3 possessions.
It's such a premium in every game for each of these teams, much less when they meet each other. There you see the first down differential. Air Force had 4 in the first half. Try to grind it on the ground. DJ Johnson, not a whole lot. Will Anthony, who's had a huge game at the end position, stopped him.
How many plays is that now as a TFL, a tackle for loss? Because it's been in the backfield. I think it's at least the 4th that I've noted for Anthony. Anthony has just been great for Buddy Green's defense, getting on their side of the line of scrimmage and making plays.
Began the day leading Buddy Green's defensive line in tackles. Second down, Pearson zips it incomplete. 2 defenders surrounding the target. Alex Ludwig, who has a touchdown catch, and Daniel Gonzalez slow to get up.
Nice job stripping. Gonzalez just catches the weight of a couple bodies right in the top of his thighs. Flips him over the top. Lucky his feet weren't planted on the ground. It could have been a lot worse.
Quincy Adams was in there with him. Gonzalez got his first start in the Ohio State game to begin the season. He's a sophomore out of Vail, Arizona.
Plays like that, even as an offensive lineman, you get caught in positions like that sometimes where people hit you from different angles. That scares you a lot more than it hurts you. Because when you first get hit and you get flipped around like that, you lay on the ground, you start doing inventory. You're going right, left, yeah, they're all moving, fine, okay, I guess I'm all right.
And of course, just last week, he saw one of his teammates, Ryan Williams-Jenkins, collide face first with a man in a kick return, break a cheekbone, had to be immobilized, brought to a hospital. Thankfully, the injury was relatively minor. Screen. They've used option pass out of this time Robinette zigs and zags to midfield.
Don't forget that play either when we get later on in the game, because right there, defense was biting like crazy. Just no one broke long. The only wrinkle you bring off that is if you have anybody, a running back or another receiver, you take off the backside to run a route. Because Robinette can definitely throw the ball, as we've learned.
To Brandon Sanders, the return man. Will Conan set for the punting. 16th in the country in punting. The air certainly helps matters. This one inside of the 10 takes a hard bounce into the end zone for a touchback.
That kind of punt, you need a punt returner on the outside as the gunner. You need a punt returner running down their full speed to catch that ball. You got to be able to find that thing in the air, track it down, and get it before it bounces.
Tomorrow, the NFL on CBS brings you a doubleheader. First, the Texans and Cowboys have a showdown at Big D. Ravens rumble with the Colts, and then the Chiefs challenge the Niners. Jets take on the Chargers. Check local listings. It begins with JB, Tony, Bart, Coach, and Boomer. The NFL Today presented by Southwest Airlines. And DeMarco Murray, well, he's just leading the NFL in rushing yards overall per game, per carry, and touchdowns.
No one's ever had a doubt as to the talent of that young man. The doubt on DeMarco Murray is, can he play a whole season healthy?
Can Navy exact a lead in this game? Noah Copeland gets 2. Nick Fitzgerald greeted him rather rudely. Air Force has not trailed Randy in a home game this year. That includes the upset against Boise State. Armed Forces football, proudly sponsored by Northrop Grumman. Copeland again gashes his way to the 26. So here's a 3rd down and 4.
That's approximately on time when it comes to staying on the sticks. Now you've got an awful lot of field to the right side. The way this Navy offense likes to operate on the edges.
Play fake. Reynolds pressured and brought down right near the line of scrimmage by Jordan Pierce, the senior out of Athens, Georgia.
Beautiful job. Watch the pocket collapse around Keenan Reynolds. There's not much going on downfield. He's got nowhere to go there. And he's got nothing but bodies with the wrong colored jerseys on around him by the time he does get somebody open.
Jordan Pierce, whose dad, Tony, has coached at Georgia, Wake Forest, West Virginia, Steelers. Been around some NFL and big college programs. Some shades there. 3 and outs this half for the Navy offense. Touchdown game.
Well, we got a shootout in Texas. TCU trailing Oklahoma by 7 in the third. Trevon Boykin to Deontay Gray. And TCU just added another touchdown. But there was holding, so bring it back. We are tied at 31 for the moment in that one. Good one in the Big 12, guys.
Well, thank you, Brent. Back and forth they go. The points have been a little more rationed here in Colorado Springs.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a big emotional game, just as we expected.
Play fake. Cale Pearson. Oh, makes a man miss. Yeah. Nimble, athletic.
John, this is what I refer to as a sleeper hold possession. If you're Air Force, you have less than 11 minutes to go. You stay in bounds. You grip this ball with 2 hands if you have to. You're protected at all times when you get around bodies. You get that clock running and you make first downs.
Hard bark. Pearson pressured by Quisenberry. That one's collected by the running back, Jacoby Owens. Pearson has outplayed Keenan Reynolds today, Randy.
Oh, he really has. He's done actually a little bit better, I think, on the run when you look at it guy to guy. Reynolds just hasn't quite recovered from that knee. I don't think it's something he has to apologize for. It's just when you're hurt and you play, it affects the level of your competence when you do play. That's just, it happens to everybody.
On the ground to the 44. Worth noting, Reynolds has 10 more carries than Pearson does. Will Anthony on that last tackle. Keenan Reynolds has had his share of fourth-quarter comebacks, but we talk about the sleeper hold possession already down to score are his mids, and he might not have much of an opportunity.
Yeah, you're probably 2 first downs away from a reasonable field goal attempt of 42 to 43 yards.
And there is one of those first downs, a burst of second effort inside the 40 for Jacoby Owens.
Nice job by Owens. You hear of backs being patient. He didn't go screaming into the line of scrimmage. He waited until those holes developed and then took those good yards right up in the meat of the defense in the middle.
5 yards there for first down. Today's first down line brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Pearson wrapped up as he held onto the ball, but still he gets about 4 yards there as Quincy Adams tackled him.
Yeah, you get 4 yards, you stay in front of the sticks, you keep the clock moving, and you're now 1 first down away. You're now 10 yards away from a reasonable field goal of 42 to 43 yards. And a 10-point lead, giving the ball back to a triple option team, is a lot more than just 10 points.
On the ground, Devin Rushing plunges to the 31. Worth noting, Will Conan has hit from as long as 50 4 times on his career, including this year against Wyoming.
Well, you see the way they've been kicking off, the way they've been punting here. The ball carries like crazy up here at 6,000 feet. but he's also showed some pretty impressive accuracy. That's what will be at a premium. He's got all the leg he needs. In fact, he can probably kick with his left foot.
3rd and 2. The pitch. Devin rushing.
Just made it.
That's going to move those chains. A killer. 1st down.
Move the change, just stop the clock, and the air doesn't go out of the balloon fast, but the air goes out of the balloon pretty good when you're running the ball like this, and everyone's making a concerted effort of staying in bounds, and you're getting a good bit of your yardage like Navy's done earlier in the game. Now, Buddy Green's defense is giving up yards inside.
Owens sheds one tackler, pushed forward from behind by Obi Uzoma to the 21-yard line. Remember, this Air Force team was decidedly pass heavy during the course of the 1st half.
That's all been the inside, and a nice block on the trap block on the outside by Patrick Noyes, but Hussar inside, and Sandor and Ruchel, they've done a really nice job of blocking, especially inside between the tackles.
Off the hard cadence, Owens, next level, just shy of the 10, another 1st down, tackled by Parrish Gaines, the free safety.
Remember I talked about patience? Here you'll see a running back going about 3/4 speed. Watch Owens come. The blocking is nice. He's not in a hurry. He hesitates, he stops, he goes. Defenders run out of his way in there. That's just good, smart running by Owens.
10 yards on that run. He's got 73 on the game. He had 4 in the 1st half. 10th play of the Air Force drive. Owens slips past a couple. He's down at about the 5. Tyler Goebel, who had picked up that penalty on special teams earlier, gets the linebacker hit.
So you've guaranteed yourself basically a 2-score lead. So Buddy Green knows you got to stop him here, not let him in the end zone, hold him to a field goal. Then you're going to have around 4.5, 5 minutes left. Got to get a touchdown, onside kick, and another possession.
That's a lot of math. There's some lost yards. Owens taken down by the rover Quazell Bertrand. So here's a 3rd and 6, Randy. What's the look?
Well, what a difference in the demeanor of this Air Force offense. The way they started this half with the rapidity and the speed and the bounce, and they're going. Now it's all about that play clock. They want to let that thing go in as much time run off as possible. It's inside.
Rushing is inside of the 5. They have to get to the 1 for a 1st down. 4th down, take the points.
Oh, I think you definitely kick a field goal here. You kick it, you take your 3 points. It's a 2-score game. The math gets a little hard. You were just saying about, well, you need a touchdown, an onside kick, then you got to get into a possession.
And they go to one of the more accurate kickers in the game, the most accurate in Air Force history, 17 of 20 on his career. Chip shot from 22. And his kick, good. A 2-score Air Force lead. 24-14. Navy missed a field goal in the 1st half. Air Force converts in the 2nd. And the Falcons flying high. The CIC on the line. They're trying to take it back. Welcome back to Colorado Springs as we take a look at today's Chick-fil-A fan cam. Many pumped up cadets at the Air Force Academy, some visiting mids as well, but a jubilant day for a resurgent Air Force team And a future football fan just welcomed as well. Vice President of Remote Production at CBS Sports, Steve Karasek, and his wife Lissa welcome Benjamin Lee Karasek, 7 pounds, 8 ounces, into the world. Benjamin and Mommy doing great. Big brother Eli, very excited. Air Force fresh off a scoring drive that chewed up 6.5 minutes. Randy Cross field goal has made it a 2-score game.
Yeah, it puts Navy in a situation where they've got to mix more pass in. And they've got to burn. They don't feel bad. Burn up your timeouts. Can't save them. Can't take them home with you.
To the end zone for a touchback. That's been a common refrain on the day. College football continues on CBS Sports Network. Coming up next, Memphis, Cincinnati in the AAC, then Boise State, Nevada. Wolfpack team that's 3-1, a win against Washington State, and a 1-score loss at Arizona. Some great games coming up still here on CBS Sports Network.
If I'm Air Force, I play zone here. I anticipate. I break on the ball.
Reynolds, his first completion in 5 tries on the second half, and it nets 9.
Trustworthy receiver in Dudek, a guy that really knows how to find a dead spot, an open spot in a zone. Doing some good work for his quarterback.
The pressure comes, the run, nets nothing, a flag flies. Ryan Watson took care of Noah Copeland.
Holding. Number 63 offense. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Goes on Blaze Ryder, who's filling in at the center position.
Playing in the middle of your picture there, 63 the center. And they hit him with a flag, just to add insult to injury.
Not just a metaphor there, literally struck with the flag. Keenan Reynolds has led 5 fourth-quarter comebacks in his Navy career, including at Air Force when he splashed for a debut 2 years ago, and he finds Shamir Tillman, his most explosive wideout, helped out a play by Jordan Meigs.
Well, to Air Force's credit, they've really done a nice job limiting the amount of stuff that Keenan Reynolds could do with his passing game in the middle of the field. And frankly, Navy hasn't tried a whole lot of it either. The stuff with the slot backs and the receivers, bringing him in motion, bringing him up the hash marks of the field. We've seen a lot of that over the course of the last 3 or 4 games.
Reynolds with the option run, twirls off contact, and the spot gives him forward progress for a first down.
Kind of good news, bad news if you're Kendi Matalolo. You're not getting the yardage in big chunks. The clock stops for a little bit when you get that first down. It was a first down. Ball had to get to the line. It got to the line.
Whistle right at the snap.
It was a bit of a generous spot, to put it lightly, giving the ball up to where it was on the 36.
The ruling on the field of the previous play is that the runner's progress was beyond the line to gain, and therefore a first down. This play is now under review.
So they're going to take a look.
Yeah, so I thought that spot was pretty generous. The line to gain, though, was the 35-yard line. And you saw in that replay we just showed you, Keenan Reynolds and the ball both got to the 35-yard line before they were pushed back.
So you believe that he has the first, but maybe not by the full yard and change?
I think he's got the first. He just won't get the benefit of the whole generous spot.
Here's another look.
Yeah, watch where the ball comes to. It has to get to the 35. Ball's in his left hand or his right hand. Let's see that again. Because if the ball's in his right hand, he didn't get to the line. I thought that ball was in his left hand. Yeah, I don't think that ball got to the 35-yard line. I think it was just short of the 35. Wow.
That would mean 4th down. And with 3:08 to go.
And they go for it.
Ken Niumatalolo's squad, 2-3 on the year, trying to avoid a 3rd consecutive loss.
Yeah, it's once they concentrate in on the ball being in the right hand, I don't see where they could say that the ball was past that 35-yard line. And I mean definitively they can't say it's past the 35-yard line.
Looks like we have word.
And first down, Navy.
Your thoughts?
Already then, first down. I would say I vigorously disagree, but besides the point, it's first down. There's 3:08 left. Navy's down by 10. They need 2 scores. Got to start chunking it more now.
Reynolds flushed again. The pressure, the duress, it's been constant.
Well, they're only running 3 receivers out in routes, and the defense is doing a really nice job. Watch as the play develops, and then when you stop it, you'll see what he's looking at. Right about here. Now he's got to move. Now it doesn't matter. Good job. Nice defense.
Reynolds running for his life. Felled at the 33.
Keeping the ball, keeping the clock running here. Didn't get out of bounds.
Ryan Watson with the contact. Steve Russ said they would be more aggressive this year defensively.
And that they are. And I tell you what, one thing you've seen the whole game, excellent coverage down the field. And when they have a chance to close on the ball and close on the quarterback, they have closed the deal, closed the gap, and they've almost closed out the back-to-back Commander-in-Chief winners, Navy.
And CBS.
Andrew Luck, great young talented quarterback out of Stanford, doing some amazing stuff. And how about J.J. Watt? Everyone knows how good he is. Everyone tries to double team him. This year, they can't stop him. He's intercepting passes, running them back for touchdowns. He's really been a heck of a force so far.
Becoming one of the face men of the league as Navy tries to engineer a comeback. Off the play fake, Reynolds steps into his throw and has the first down. Tillman at midfield. Tillman swung down just shy of the 40 by Ryan Watson. Now keep in mind, Randy, 10-point game, but a field goal from Nick Sloan's not a gimme.
Yep. Clock just now starting again, under 2:25.
26 yards there. Reynolds loading up again, wide open, caught at the 15, to the end zone. Touchdown to Brandon Sanders. A 40-yard strike at Keenan Reynolds, the most touchdowns in Navy history.
About 8 or 9 passes today, couldn't find somebody wide open. Had him one time wide open, didn't hit him. He's had a couple of wide open receivers, and he's done a very nice job of delivering the ball with pressure coming. Touchdown, 2:14 left. I think I smell an onside kick coming.
Nick Sloan's extra point kick, good. Keenan Reynolds looking for his 6th career 4th quarter comeback. The first came when he dashed off the bench in the 4th quarter here 2 years ago.
And there are just certain people, certain players that have that edge. And that's just something he has. He got that from his parents. He was born with that. You don't teach that. That ability to really close and finish. That guy that's in your huddle, and everybody that's on your team and in your huddle looks at that one guy, and you know you can come back against anybody.
Navy has not attempted an onside kick this season. Air Force has seen the opponent try it once. It was not successful. Remember, 3 of the last 5 matchups in this series have gone to overtime. And it would be some poetic redemption for Nick Sloan if he could convert. Austin Greavy handles kickoffs. Hands unit out there for the midshipmen and for the Air Force Falcons.
You've got 10 players within 14 yards of the ball, 1 deep man on about the 25. That's it for Air Force.
The ball bouncing, won by the Falcons. And Air Force gets the ball up a field goal with 2:13 to play. Let's take a look at today's Northrop Grumman aerial performance of the game.
And we'll make that a double dipper. How about that? Ball to Robinette. Robinette down the field doing a heck of a job to Garrett Brown for his touchdown. Then you got Garrett Reynolds for his touchdown there just now. 3 passes, 2 touchdowns.
And a big possession for Air Force. Navy's got 2 timeouts. Keenan Reynolds just watching and waiting, hoping his defense can get a stop. Pearson. What a gutsy run by the quarterback for a first down.
Yeah, and this is just, you run this thing, you cover both hands on the ball. And on the onside kick, look at getting that thing and high pointing it so that no one else can get it with 2 hands on it. Then as soon as you put those hands on it, you wrap it up.
It was Jalen Robinette who secured that ball. Pearson attempting to secure his 5th win in 6 career starts. A senior out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, missed most of last season, injured in the opener, one of the 2 wins that came against Colgate. On the ground, Owens. Time ticks. He's to the 20. The Navy calls timeout here. 1 left with 90 seconds to go. A Navy team that has not lost 3 consecutive games since 2011. That's the only time it has happened since 2003. They're looking at a 3rd straight loss square in the face.
You're looking at a situation here where you can't give up this first down, then you give up a field goal, then you're still a touchdown into the game. You still can win the game with a touchdown.
Most Commander-in-Chief's trophies belonging to Air Force. A lot of them won back in the Fisher-DeBerry era. 2 won in the last 11 years, 9 in that time claimed by the Navy midshipmen. 24-21. Pearson and company. Pearson taking the game in his own hands and nearly getting another first down. Jordan Drake on the tackle.
Clock just keeps running. 3rd and 2. You get this 2 yards. The clock is going to stop briefly for the first down. Air Force will let as much time run off as possible, and then they'll call a timeout.
There's the timeout. Field goal difference, 44 seconds remaining. Navy, Air Force. These teams have met so many times through the years. The last victories for Air Force came in 2010 and 2011. Tim Jefferson had a 50-yard scamper, a 14-6 Air Force win in 2010. Pandemonium on the field, and a year later in Annapolis, Chris Proctor, 5-yard touchdown pass to Gigi Green, tied the game. But Navy missed a point after touchdown, thanks in part to an excessive celebration penalty. And Tim Jefferson from 1 yard out clinched the game in overtime. It's a field goal game, Randy Cross, and the 5th miss in 8 tries on the year by Nick Sloan, the difference.
Between us, we can be getting ready to go into overtime. Actually, even if he'd well, I'll be nice. I think he's fine. You know, did he make a mistake? Yeah, the kid made a mistake. You could also point at Keenan Reynolds. They turned that turnover and that fumble into 7 points too.
3rd and 2, the defense holds. Perhaps a loss of half a yard. What are you looking at here? Do you go for this? Do you kick the field goal?
Oh, I put the points on the board if I'm Air Force.
Timeout called by Navy. Midshipmen have exhausted their timeouts. And here is the miss by Nick Sloan.
Brought it to the right. It came to the left, but not until it was well past that upright.
Eager for a chance to prove himself once more. If a field goal comes here, though, the Navy needs that touchdown. The one wrinkle, of course, if Navy were to find that pay dirt, granted with a minimal amount of time and no timeouts, then an extra point could mean a victory. But you talked about the team concept. Certainly, the giveaways have been an issue. We profiled it earlier. That
Reynolds had the fumble that they turned into a touchdown. He also had a interception in the end zone, in the red zone. So those are points you have to look at. So it was, by all means, it was not just the young man kicking. Keenan Reynolds gets a little bit of it. The offensive line gets a little bit of it because they didn't protect their quarterback very well today. Did a heck of a job run blocking, but protection wasn't there.
They're going for it on 4th down. Pearson, end zone, touchdown! Garrett Brown, his 2nd touchdown catch of the game.
What's that Air Force Army game? November 11th?
November 1.
November 1st. Navy just became Army's biggest fan. They need Army to take out Air Force.
What do you think about going for it there?
I like it. I mean, I would have put the points on the board. I might have probably even ran it and just gotten the 1st down and let the time go away.
I think that harkens back to the mindset Troy Calhoun talked about, his coordinators. Mike Thiessen on offense, Steve Russ on defense talked about it. They wanted a return to aggression. An aggression that seemed to leave Air Force when Tim DeRuyter did. But it's back in a big way. And these Falcons flying high on their way to a 4-1 start to the season.
Well, you thought this place was crazy last week when they beat Boise State. There'll be some celebrating here in Colorado Springs. They put 31 points on the board and they don't have a rushing touchdown. Wow. We've gotten some long odds on that one.
Going for 2 to boot. Pearson won't get that, thanks to Daniel Gonzalez.
Look at Garrett Brown here in the shadow, kind of giving it the, pay no attention to me. I'm just kind of hiding right here. What could I possibly do on this run? Breaks just completely free. Navy's playing run the whole way on that play, and no one covers Brown.
Over the summertime, the mantra was 2 and 10. Anytime someone was slacking in a drill, they felt effort wasn't being maximized. That short phrase was uttered, a harsh reminder of perhaps rock bottom a year ago and a mountain high here in 2014.
We talk about the job that Troy Calhoun has done maintaining what Fisher DeBerry built here at Air Force. It's much like we've talked about, you know, with Ken Niumatalolo over all these games, and with Paul Johnson brought the Navy and the winning and the bowl games. Some rich tradition here at the Air Force Academy, and not only with the Commander-in-Chief trophy possibly making a return trip. You have to remember, Mountain West Conference. These guys are looking pretty good. They're going to be a team to deal with in that conference.
And they've got another big game coming up next week at Utah State.
There's Garrett Brown again right here, and he'll just go and break straight up the field, completely unmolested. Probably the hardest thing about that pass for Pearson was not missing him. He was so wide open.
A jubilant Air Force sideline. Reynolds in and out of Dudek's hands. Ample opportunity for Keenan Reynolds' team on the day, and give a lot of credit to this Air Force squad that has turned things around dramatically.
Yeah, like you said, from those the chance of 2-10 to now 4-1, taking out their arch rival Navy and beating Boise State.
Incomplete there, Nick Fitzgerald.
Someone better come look at Keenan Reynolds. Looked like he took a helmet right on his throwing wrist on his right hand.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, he got a shot. Looked like it was like almost right up underneath the right elbow. Got hit right on the elbow, actually, part of his forearm. Nice pass rush there. Tell you what, Nick Fitzgerald has had a couple of those today. Had one where he followed up with a penalty. So that'll bring Tago Smith in at quarterback for these last couple of plays.
Were you surprised that Smith wasn't in there as it was? Two-score game, under 40 seconds left?
Man, you know, I think in normal circumstances, but knowing a guy like Keenan Reynolds, you'd have a hard time getting him out. He'd take an order. He'd take a direct order from the superior, but if you didn't suggest it, I'm not sure he'd want to come out.
Blaze Ryder was also banged up on the same play, clenching his right arm. Center's thin as it stands. Dudek short of the marker, and time ticks. Keenan Reynolds absorbing some pain on that hit, and certainly on the scoreboard as well. Final play, Tillman swept under, and Air Force takes the first leg in this year's Commander-in-Chief's trophy race. The first win in 3 seasons for the Falcons against Navy, 30-21 the final.
Excellent execution by both sides. Very physical, hard-fought football game on both sides. Just when it came down to it, the last few mistakes that mattered the most were made by the midshipmen.
Troy Calhoun's Air Force team 4-1 on the season. And as a show of respect for each of these service academies, we'll stay here on CBS Sports Network for each alma mater. Troy Calhoun talked about that when we chatted with him this week, that the third verse is something that stirs a lot of emotion in him, and emotion pouring forth for each of these teams. Troy Calhoun began the day 2-5 against Navy, but now in his 8th season, he's got a big one with the Falcons, a man who was Mountain West Coach of the Year when he splashed in 2007, was a finalist for National Coach of the Year honors. Here's the alma mater. The Navy alma mater wrapped up, and these Falcons fired up as they race across the field. What true emotion spilled forth. A lot of love and adoration for Air Force, and some difficult gripe for Navy. Navy team that's fallen to 2-4, while Air Force sits 4-1. Not only a player for the Commander-in-Chief's trophy, but with a splendid start to the year, could be a challenger in the Mountain West.
And as much competition as you saw on the field here, don't forget, all these young men you saw today will be fighting side by side not too long from now. And a lot of this that was done on sporting fields won't much matter.
Different teams today, all one team tomorrow. The young men that will be fighting for our country, Garrett Brown. A couple of touchdowns today for Air Force. Back-to-back wins against Boise State and Navy. And Utah State comes calling next week, a team that beat an unbeaten BYU squad just last night. Let's go down to the field. Susanna Collins with head coach Troy Calhoun.
All right, Coach, 17 years in a row, the winner of this game has gone on to win the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. Knowing what is on the line here, how big was this win for you guys here today?
Good quality win. I thought we played really, really hard all game long. This Navy did too. I thought both teams. You can see why we want these young men out there. They're going to fight for our country, and that's a credit to the Naval Academy also.
Thanks so much, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you.
A man that certainly gets it, the first Air Force graduate to coach at his alma mater. That wraps things up. Cale Pearson and company did their job. For Randy Cross, Susanna Collins, and our entire crew, this is John Sadak. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour Stadium. AAC play, Memphis, Cincinnati. Dave Ryan, Corey Chavis, and Lauren Gardner have the call.